Good morning and welcome to the Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll, and as always, I'm here with the beautiful and talented Rose Short. And today's topic of discussion is going to be scaling beyond organic. So when paid traffic makes sense and when it doesn't.
Yeah, we've kind of touched on this a couple of times. We've never really fully talked about it. And I think it's an area where especially new marketers get a little confused. So I think it's super, super important that we talk about it, especially if you're just in like your first couple months. You might feel like you need to set up your ad account and all that, but it's not necessarily what you need to do, despite if you're being told you need to do.
Yeah. So, organic traffic is sort of like walking everywhere. It's good for your body, you can do it. But if you need to cross 3 state lines, walking is not going to get you there. And organic traffic feels safe, right? You're not spending money. You're just putting it out there. Things don't work. It's okay. You haven't lost anything. You're not, but organic traffic has a ceiling, right? And most people do tend to hit it long before they actually realize they've hit it. And the other thing that we need to remember is that paid traffic is not the enemy. Okay. You're not selling out if you're buying ads or doing things like that. It's just borrowing speed. So,
yeah, organic traffic is great when you start out. It's great for building trust and authority and, learning the process and what works for your audience, what doesn't. But if you're not tailoring to the algorithm, platforms don't want you winning for free forever. So your reach can get throttled, and think of it in terms of like your own family, right? So if you are the one who comes to dinner and is always talking about, your skincare routine or your skincare products that you love, right? Your family's eventually going to get tired of it, and, your close friends as well, as much as they love you. So think of your organic traffic in that kind of sense as well. If you're not extending your reach, then your feeds just become the same people that are like, oh yeah, it's another skincare thing. Like it's the same thing she always talks about, right? So this is where visibility then slows because people stop engaging with your content and your growth kind of plateaus. So this is where using those professional dashboards are super important, and really analyzing your reach and whatnot. If you're using edits now, it also will give you those insights because obviously they want you to use edits versus CapCut or anything else. And so using that insight can be super beneficial to see if you are hitting that plateau. Like 2 years ago, everything was like, oh, you're shadow banned because you used this hashtag or you used this keyword. And like shadow banning is still a thing. But sometimes you're not banned, your content just sucks. Or your reach sucks because you're not properly stroking the algorithm's ego. So.
Exactly. And I mean, if say you've got a lot of people, right, they're going to want to push you to start buying ads. So if you have a really strong following, they may just want you to start. And so they will start throttling who you're reaching or how many times they're going to show your content to a wider audience. And that's not anything that you've done necessarily. It's just that you've reached that limit. You've reached that plateau. Now you can still obviously gain business from your organic reach, but it's not going to be at the level that maybe you need to when, it's time to step up, right? It's not a motivation issue. It's a scaling issue at this point.
Yeah.
So there are some signs that you are ready for paid traffic. You've already made sales organically is number one, right? If you're not making sales organically, it's not time for you to start, putting out money on it because you haven't really narrowed it down to who you're talking to. You can explain your offer also, without rambling. That's another one. Like if you can't definitively and easily explain what you're doing, then you're not ready for paid ads because the chaos is not going to work for you. And you're not hoping that ads are going to solve your broken business, right? Let me just throw money at the problem, right? This is, if you actually have money, this is something that people will do, right? And they'll do it for all sorts of situations, whether you're the parent that's not super involved, so you buy your kids, the most expensive crap, or, you know, this isn't working, so I'm just going to throw money at it and hope that it works. Usually it's intangibles, it's not tangibles. It's not like, oh, well, something's broken in my house, and so I need to throw money at it to fix it. It's more intangible than that. But these are problems. If you can't fix these problems without money, then maybe you're not ready to step into the paid ads. Ads work best to amplify something that's already working. Right. So that's where
there is one potential exception to that. And that is if you're running a brand channel or a faceless brand channel. So if you're not making you the brand, if like the brand is a wellness store or, you know, a wellness profile where you're sharing other things, then it's kind of okay to start with paid ads as long as you know what it is you're promoting. So you see this a lot with like the flex jobs ads, the AI remote ads, the, what is it, Intich or Intech something. A lot of the remote jobs, a lot of those are being run by marketers, not necessarily the company itself, because those are typically CPA or CPL offers. So they're putting the money into running the ad from a faceless type account, but they're also getting credit, not necessarily for a sale, but for a sign up. So if you're looking at going that route, that is a little bit different. And so not exactly what we're talking about here. This is specifically if it's you are your brand.
Yeah. And I mean, in that situation, even in that situation, they already know who they're talking to, right? They have a very good idea of who their target is, who their target audience is, and also very clearly can explain what it is that they're trying to do, right? So they've already got two of those things right down pat. So, you know, that's, they're already a step ahead. So that's, you know, it falls into that. Yeah. So when is it too early?
Well, a lot of people just kind of figure like, oh, I'll start paying for ads and I'll figure it out later, right? That is not good. That's a very easy way to get your Facebook ad account banned, first of all, or your Google one, because they crack down as well. You know, ads don't create clarity. They expose problems, but usually they're exposing problems that you have versus maybe your offer. And if you haven't really built up your credibility or your email list and your email, your domain with organic traffic that's engaging, this is a really easy way to all of a sudden add a bunch of people to your email list that are going to spam you, and is going to destroy your credibility from your email standpoint as well, right? So if your funnel's already leaking, ads are just going to pour water all over the floor, right? Like it's not going to catch it. It's going to make it 1,000 times worse. So, you know, and if the thought of running a $10 a day ad makes you feel like really anxious or like, oh, like this is going to be too much money, I don't have $300 a month to throw at this, then you're not ready yet financially or probably emotionally. You know, you could try boosting a few posts if you feel like you're almost financially ready and just want to get more of a reach versus an ad. But really, you know, you're going to get a lot of pressure from people to buy solo ads or to, you know, do a Facebook ad or turn a post into an ad if you have a big enough reach. And this is where it's super important that you are financially responsible enough to know if you can afford it, but also know if you're ready, because it's already kind of nerve-wracking to put your face in front of strangers organically. Now just imagine that reach times, you know, 10 if you're putting out an ad.
Yeah, and it's okay if you're not there yet, right? Don't assume that you have to be there because it feels like you're supposed to, because you've got the noise in the background. It's always important to go at the pace that you're ready. But if you find that you're anxious, not because of the money, but because of the emotional factor, then that's something that you need to work on before you do it, because that is something that's actually going to hold you back. That's a mindset situation, and that can hold you back even when you are ready. So the idea is to budget without panicking, right? So you start small, right? Little, unsexy, small, $5 to $10 a day. You know, you're not making it rain. You're keeping it small so that you can figure out what it is. And this is the learning. This is for learning. This isn't for profit, right? So if you're throwing $300 a month at ad spend, don't expect that to be pulling you back a ton of money, because you're learning what's going to work and what's not. It's, you think about it more like tuition, right? Because you're being educated. This is your first steps. Once something converts, then you can start slowly increasing your ad spend, one variable at a time, just like when you're doing organic and you're making changes one at a time. No, let's triple it and see what happens, because your business isn't a weekend in Vegas, right? Your business is, and take it more seriously than that. When you're ready to throw caution to the wind and you feel confident, then you can do that. But don't bet the farm, right? Because you want to be able to run your business tomorrow too. You don't want to lose everything because you decided I need to try, right? So
yeah. And ads are not entirely straightforward, because there's a lot that you need to analyze to know what's working, right? You got to look at your click-through rate. You got to look at your CTA. You got to look at how long are people staying engaged with your ad. Are they clicking but not buying? So if your click-through rate's good but your conversion sucks, why does your conversion suck? I think there's a lot of different things to look into. So it's really, really tempting as well to hire an ad expert. Which, if you are there, cool. But I would definitely say learn it first, because then you know what you're looking for and then you won't get taken, right? Some of the ad experts are experts because they're a month ahead of you. So.
Yeah, and which is fine, that's their job and everything else. But there is a lot of information. And if you are willing to put in the time to at least understand the basics, then you can keep track of the person that you hired, right? You don't have to know everything, but and if you're a solopreneur and you're like, no, I'm putting my money in ads, I'm not putting my money in somebody else to do my ads for me, then it's your job to get educated. And you can purchase education, or you can go to, YouTube University, or, one of those places. There's other places, obviously, that have those options as well. I think HubSpot also does a social media one for free in their HubSpot Learning Academy. There's other places as well. So it's really up to you, but get yourself educated. Always research. And a lot
of the platforms will tell you too, right? So Pinterest, if you have a business account, you automatically get assigned an ads manager, which is just a person that if you decide to start running ads can kind of help you. So Pinterest, is kind of overlooked in the affiliate marketing space even still. But it's great for your slow burn, evergreen offers, right? That you can create pins, reuse pins for the same kind of theme. Meta ads are much better for audience targeting and retargeting. So we already know that they know way too much about us. And, you mentioned a toolkit at work, and all of a sudden all your ads on Facebook that night are for toolkits. That's because they put a lot of money and resources into figuring out how to target and retarget people. So that can be super helpful if you know how to use it. And then Google and YouTube, it's a little bit less guessy. It's very intent based. But again, make sure that you are adhering to their rules and regulations and that you understand them, because it's very easy to get an ad account banned. And we've seen it a lot. And sometimes you can get Meta to go back if you write a really nice letter saying, hey, I'm learning and I had no idea what I was doing, but oftentimes they don't care.
They do not. I got my ad account banned on my main social media, or my main Facebook, for Donna Stroll, and I didn't even do an ad. I did nothing. And I tried to go against it. I tried to do an appeal and everything, and it's done, and I have no recourse, and it makes no sense to me, but there's nothing I can do about it. So just know that they can be a little tricky. So, and there's not a lot of recourse, because they don't actually employ a lot of people to look at this stuff. It's all very computer and AI driven. So
and with Meta specifically, you can get your ad account suspended by what you're posting. So that's where Meta becomes a bit of a gray area as well, unfortunately. So, just be smart about it. Remember that boosting your post and running an ad are not the same thing. A boosted post is just kind of gonna throw it out there to people. If you're running an ad, you can really specify what demographic you want. You can specify household income. There's a lot of stuff that you can really strategically target, whereas a boost is just kind of like, you know, going on the street and being like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what I do.
Yeah, they give you a megaphone is basically what a boost is. So you can, people in the back can hear you where they maybe didn't hear you before. But yes, ads are definitely much more strategic. You can very much narrow it down. Like for dark recesses, it's, you know, I'm dealing with people who like horror and dark fiction. That's a very niche target, right? So the ads allow me to break that down and strategize that, whereas boosting just lets me yell at everybody. You know, I get to reach a few more people.
Which, if you're just getting paid for your content and your engagement, can be beneficial. But if you're trying to build out something beyond content and engagement, ads are really going to be where it's at.
Yeah, and for, like you say, boosting is good for building your following a lot of times, right? Because you're reaching more people, so more people might, you know, that's that wide net. You don't know what you're going to catch, but, you know, catch a few that actually work for you. So yeah. And then finally, you know, you want to protect your sanity. You know, paid traffic can be dangerous when you're watching your ads hourly, or you make emotional decisions. Again, this is strategic. You got to put your emotions over here. Or you expect instant wins, which is something that I think is really common when people first move into buying ads. We expect instant return. We want to see that what we're putting out there, if we're going to pay for it, it's going to do, you know, it's going to give us money back. But that goes back to the beginning. Your first ad spend is going to be educational more than it is going to be ROI, right? It's really important to keep that in mind. And the reality is scaling should be boring, right? It should be, you know, if it feels dramatic, then something's not right. You know, you're not trying for chaos. You want it to be, okay, so now I'm moving to the next step, and now I'm moving to the next step. And I mean, the excitement comes for when it works, but it shouldn't be like, you know, biting your nails constantly and feeling in a state of anxiousness all the time and like, you know, refresh, because then that's not healthy, right? It's going to make you bonkers. Nobody needs to be bonkers.
You're already gonna go crazy enough with haters on the internet. You don't need to make it worse by, you know, and you're gonna get hate on your ads. I mean, just be prepared for it. It's like anything with, you know, the internet. It's there. It's gonna happen. Smile.
Yeah, and if you don't think that it's true, look at some of the marketers that you follow. Look at some of their ads, and then look at the comments. You're gonna see lots of love, but you're also going to see, well, this is BS, or this never happened for me, or you're just another hack trying to sell. It's okay.
I'm so tired of seeing this. Can you turn this ad off?
Yeah, whatever. Then mute. Like you can
okay,
literally mute the ads.
Yeah, it's retargeting for a reason. You're engaging with it.
Yeah, stop engaging and you won't see it anymore. But you know, that is, so just like anything else, trolls are going to be trolls. We live in a troll world, and unfortunately there's bots out there that's their only job, is to go and create some chaos and some, you know, angst for people. So just, if it really bothers you, just in your mind, think of every single one of them as bots, unless they're being consistent with their comments, right? If you see a lot of comments of, this was good, but this is a problem, or, you know, this is a problem, and you see a lot of comments that say that this is a problem, again, this is an opportunity for you to pivot, to learn and grow. So negative comments are either for education, or they're just something that you let roll off your back as that's just a troll, and they are there specifically to sow seeds of discourse, and that's it, right?
Yeah, but they're still growing your engagement, so, you know, try not to be pissed about it. I try to, if I'm not sure of a comment, I'll try to read it in a positive light, because I tend to go negative. That's just, I'm conditioned that way. But I'll try to put it into a positive light and then respond really positively. And if it's a bot, they're not going to respond to your response anyway. But at most, it might entertain your audience. If it's not a bot, they might respond. And then you can kind of have a fun back and forth if you're in the mind space to do that. If you're not, that's fine too.
Yeah, don't delete the comments. Even if they seem completely useless, don't delete them. because it's engagement. Yeah, you can certainly hide them. Like, you don't have to have them out there for everybody, but don't delete them, right? Just hide them, you know, because whatever, you know, it doesn't, they've put a comment on there now, not everybody can see it, and it's all good. And it's just, you know, they're helping you. Even if they're not trying to, they're helping you. So thanks. Bye.
Yeah, so, you know, organic definitely builds trust. It's usually safer, and when you're first starting out, it's super important. But, you know, paid, it buys back your time, essentially, right? And that's what all this is about, is having the time to do whatever the heck we want to do, right? That's the beauty of online income, and especially the eventual passive online income, is you have that time. So that's where ads can come in handy. But again, it's not going to be instant. But if you combine those things together, you'll have a business that doesn't collapse, especially when the algorithm decides to change, or, you know, Meta makes changes, YouTube makes changes, whatever it might be. If you have both of these in place, you know, one should be kindling and one should be the bigger logs. Like, it's all part of building that fire.
That's perfect. Yeah. So that is it. And that is all for us today. I hope you guys got some value out of that. And we will see you next week. Have a good weekend. That's it from us. If this episode helped you,
or at least entertained you,
go ahead and like, subscribe, and share.
We'll catch you next time.